Let's get it on.
All right, y'all, extremely excited about this Ohio State-Georgia game. I want to do a little counterpoint here. I want to start with Ohio State's front seven going against Georgia's, right? Especially Georgia's run game. I think when it comes playoff time, Georgia gets down to the brass tacks of the matter. You give them 1 month to prepare for something like that. Yeah, it's going to be hell on wheels, especially if they find a weakness in you, right? They're like Floyd Mayweather. Once he takes and downloads that data, after the second or third round, it's over. He understands everything that you're doing, and you give these guys a month, and they know that you have trouble with something like this. I want you to look at this right here. I'm a huge fan of Ohio State's personnel. We know the offensive side of the ball is loaded beyond belief. You could say probably the most talented offense top to bottom. The defense has some names, mostly in the front seven. The secondary, I think, is one of the worst secondaries that I've ever seen at Ohio State. And it's been that way for a few years now. They used to be the best as far as secondary play. Now they have a bunch of guys that I'm not so sure make the league. Or if they do make the league, they'll be late-round draft picks. They used to be in first-round draft picks across the board. Even guys who play for like a year get to go in the first round. That does not seem to be the case now. And I've noticed a couple of aspects. We'll get with this one right here in the front seven. Your man Tommy Eichenberg and my guy Still Chambers, right? Everybody knows me and Still, right? Our history there. I helped Still with his recruiting, him and his family. I helped them with their recruiting. I knew he was going to be a superstar. They contacted me to help with the recruiting, and hey, there he is. You see him right there, one of the best schools in the country, Ohio State. Although I wanted him at my school, Penn State, but hey, it is what it is on that. He's done great for himself. He's going to the league. But they struggle to get off of blocks. That's it. If you can combo up to the second level, and Georgia does that as good as anyone, if not better than everyone. Check this out right here. 8 men in the box. 8 men in the box, and they still can't stop it. That's crazy. You have to dedicate extra bodies, and you still can't do anything. They zeroed it out. Look, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This is against 11 personnel. 11. It's not like they brought in a 3-tight set here and they told you like, hey, this is what we're going to do. They sold out so hard that they left everybody, right? This is one on in the edges and everything, just one tight end in the game and everything, and they still could not stop it. If you're working front side on these zone plays, you know the deal here. Everybody's going to work play side here. You see Donovan Edwards. He's almost like, man, do I keep this up the gut or do I keep working front side here? And you'll see what he does. Obviously, my man keeps working front side. Look at Latham Ransom here. He's trying to squeeze down. He can't get there. You have these guys working up. Look, I want you to see how Eichenberg right here, he crashes down. Eichenberg right here, he crashes down. He's in the wash, the sanitation. Can't do anything about it. He's actually in another man's gap too, right? He's not practicing gabstinence. My man Still Chambers here, he's approaching the line of scrimmage. The guard works off of him. Still needs to be able to take that, punch that man, right? Double breastplate his ass, shove him aside, and being able to 2-gap in that direction right there. But you see right there, my man Still, he's kind of lost in the sauce right there, right? Stuck on the block like an old head right there, still not getting off the block there, and then you can see what happens, right? Ohio State, if you keep these guys clean, so this is not really even on the linebackers because that's just a style of play. If you keep these guys clean, like the guys up front, Teron Vincent, JTT, Zach Harrison, Sawyer, all these guys like that, if they're able to keep these guys free, they're 2 of the best linebackers in the country, period. There's some run and chase linebackers. They will gobble and tackle up everything. Tackles for loss. If they can shoot gaps and everything, these boys are on it, absolutely on it. But if you get your hands on them, they are in trouble. Let's check something else out. All right, once again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You have a 7-man front. They're running with this crash defense here. They pretty much want to have 3 players down, right? Which I absolutely hate. You only have 3 down linemen. Then you have your rest of your guys up on their feet. So you want these guys to crash gaps. Crash. Hickman, all these guys, you want them to crash gaps. But nobody gets off blocks well. Even the guys up front, right? Not a dominant front physically. Definitely can have you some stats. They can stat you up, no doubt about that, but not a dominant front physically, and they can't get off blocks. And you allow this type of approach here, and you have to worry about your linebackers here, right? Once it gets to that third level, anything can happen. You don't want it to get there, but if you're able to run like this here, leave these guys uncovered. Look at that. Oluwatimi on Eichenberg, the guard right here on Steel Chambers, neither are going to be able to get off a block. It's not their game. They're better off like in some type of all gaps covered defense, whether it be a 5-man front and keeping them clean. If that happens right there, nobody's running on them because they're that good of linebackers, right, with the tackling as far as working forward, right? They work forward, shoot gaps, and then work sideline to sideline and chase down, right? But allowing them to be comboed up to the second level, you're just asking for it. You're just asking for it. Now, Michigan's a great team with a great offensive line. Now, contrast that with trying to defend Georgia. To me, it's maybe a different animal than even Michigan. As great as Michigan's offensive line is, these guys have guys outside of the offensive line that have first-round grades as far as blocking goes. They're tight ends. We're talking about Brock Bowers here. My man, I call Block Bowers. Then you have Granddaddy Darnell Washington here, right? He's like your granddaddy, man. You don't mess with your granddaddy back in the day, right? Anything he touches turns to sawdust. He'll crack your back, and he ain't talking about doing it as a chiropractor here. And amongst these dudes right here, man, you can just check out with this split zone right here. Look at the displacement. You see the movement right here? You see how far back LSU's defensive line is, and this is with zone flow. You got Granddaddy right here. Watch out there now, boy. Watch out there now, boy. He's trying to go low on your Granddaddy. You don't go low on your Granddaddy. Splacker tire. Right there. Harold Perkins, he paid for it. Splatter whacked. But I'm just saying, just look at the guys up front right here. Along with Bowers, you know he's going to be doing his thing as well. All these guys will get into your chest. Look at that. Willock. You have Amarius Mims. Watch Amarius Mims right here. He's wheelbarrowing Ali Gay. Ali Gay turns backwards, right? And it gets wheelbarrowed like a sack of shit all the way out like a sack of manure, and you can see how far down the line that these LSU guys have been displaced, right? That, my friends, is defensive gentrification. Displacing all these guys right here, that shit is crazy, and then you can see the hole right there, just the organic crease form. Ain't nothing you can do about it. And now Georgia's backs, like Michigan has a great back in Donovan Edwards. They didn't have Blake Corum. They have the Blake Corum. They have a Donovan Edwards and then some. They go about 4 deep at running back, all guys with some severe speed, severe physicality and everything. I just think it's a whole different animal. Just Georgia was the lean on this aspect, and Ohio State can't do anything about it. You slow down that C.J. Stroud, Marvin Harrison, Emeka Ibuka passing game, right, with Cade Stover and Julian Fleming and all these guys, it makes it a little bit tougher. They can eat clock if they want to. They can make explosive plays through the air. They can make explosive plays on the ground by FedExing your ass, right, by land, by air, by sea, however you want to see that. I'm telling you right now, that's Ohio State better be in for. They better have worked out that aspect. In addition to the zone stuff, Georgia has a great gap scheme approach as well. You'll get this counter OT here where they're pulling Tate Ratledge, the guard, and Amarius Mims here, the tackle. And you can see the carnage with Broad Jones right here, first-round pick, climbing up to the second level on the linebackers. Everybody's got trust here doing this thing. Cedric Van Pran, you want to leave guys, this is very much similar approach right here with 2 guys down, and then everybody else up on their feet like Ohio State tries to do when they try to combat the run game. That's a tough approach to do against Georgia, man. See the counter move there, and look at the carnage and wreckage. Everybody getting in on it. I'm talking about angling. You have great angles. You have great physicality. You have great leverage. Everything you can think of to have a dominant run game. Think about that. And this is coming from a team that's predominantly a passing team, right? At least for the first half of the season or first, I don't know, maybe 75%. Then they started to lean back on the run game. Then they got the passing game. It was like they can do just about anything you can think of there. But when it all boils down, they can just lean on physicality and lean on that offensive line as well. They've had some spurts, though, to where they kind of struggle in short yardage situations, but that may be a personnel thing as far as who they deploy at the time, if anything. But for the most part, they get it in the run game, son. One for Georgia here. I wonder about Ohio State's ability to tackle in the open field. Getting them out on the perimeter, which Georgia has a great chance of doing because Georgia, when it plays this game, it could be a perimeter-based passing game to where they work the edges to guys like Lab McConkey and Brock Bowers, even Darnell Washington, granddaddy himself, and a lot of the backs, putting guys out in space and seeing what your tackling game is like. All right, over here going against Cam Brown, you have your man Michael Mayer, the tight end right here. You can see him with this curl route. He goes up and gets it, and then you can see the lack of open field tackling. Look at this. Jakob. Of course, you know how Michael Mayer gets down. Very much how Brock Bowers gets down, right? 1A, 1B in my opinion there. However way you want to go with that. But look at this. Nope. Look at this. Who's that? Eichenberg. Oh, was that Ransom? Then you have Hickman. Look at it. He dropped the ball. This could have been off to the races, but just stuff like that, right? You got two men converging on this dude right here. And I know he's Michael Mayer, but remember, this is Georgia. We're talking about Brock Bowers. He's impossible to tackle, just like Michael Mayer as well in the open field. And we're just kind of getting started with this segment right here. But you can see right here, bowling pin situation, right? Eichenberg turned into a scribble. You got McAllister right here. He going down as well. Another bowling pin situation with him. And just so happened Mayer drops the ball, though. Now, check this out. Ohio State been beaten by big plays that aren't necessarily designed to be big plays. You catch a screen pass out here to my man Parker Washington for my Nittany Lions, right? And look, McAllister and Johnson, two cats right here converging on him. He should be dead to rights. Correct? No. Spins off both of them, right? Leaves my man McAllister right here grasping for straws. Come on, man. What are we doing here? I was going crazy when this happened right there. This is unbelievable right here. Two men on him. Parker Washington spins up out of him. Bowling pins, both of them, right? Have McAllister and Johnson fertilize themselves, and he was off to the races. Perimeter tackling, man, I'm telling you. Listen, Ohio State, right? You can say Ohio State secondary U. No doubt about that. For the past however many years, especially under Urban Meyer. But Ryan Day's iteration doesn't have it like that. So that's just one aspect. I want to come back and do one about Ohio State attacking Georgia or just some different aspect to look for Ohio State. But let me know what you think about these couple of aspects right here, both with Ohio State with the open field tackling and then the inability to get off blocks with the front seven, how you think that could affect the approach of this game. All right. It's your boy, Mid-Atlantic Murph, a.k.a. the Underground King. Thanks for watching as always. Salute. Strike the band.
What more can I say?
Top Billin.